Hey there guys, welcome to another Train Simulator Classic video. Today we're going to be trying to take a look at something that surely looks like it's something worth taking a look at. This is a freeware locomotive from renowned freeware modder DSGDDR. You can go and pick this up for free. It is now available. I'll link it down below where you can go and find it as usual. But this, of course, is Mr. Big Chungus himself, the Pennsylvania Railroad Class S1 Duplex. They only had one. It was number 6100, and it was the single experimental duplex loco built to showcase the so-called advantages of duplex drives. It was the longest and heaviest rigid-framed reciprocating steam locomotive at the time for passenger trains. And of course it was streamlined in an Art Deco fashion and look, and built at the PRR Altoona Works in 1939 with a 6446 configuration. Things over 140 feet long, weighed over 1 million pounds, was allegedly claimed to be able to go 152 miles an hour, and it retired in 1946 and was scrapped shortly thereafter, sadly, in 1949. And it had a unique 2 pair of cylinders per side, and there was no articulation like some of the larger locomotives at the time, and they did that mainly for high-speed stability. But eventually there were problems due to wheel slip, and a lot of the trackage that it ran on simply could not handle it due to the radius of the curve because of the length of this thing and because it was not articulated. So that led eventually to the Class T1 thereafter. But its service life began in 1940, running primarily Chicago to Pittsburgh passenger trains, of course. But it looks really good. So DSGDDR, we'll go ahead and pause that right there real quick, and I will bring this over really quick here. So this is DSGDDR, and he and the couple of people that work with him to get these things out have brought the community quite a few locomotives and some bits of rolling stock over the years. Most namely Pennsylvania Railroad stuff, which I'm not a huge, crazy fanatic of Pennsy stuff. It is what it is. I know it's famous for what it is and all that good stuff. But the last locomotive that came out this year, the ATSF 2900, was a really, really nice locomotive. I took a look at that. I'll link that up in the top right-hand corner if you want to go and check that out. So if this is anything like that one there, this should be due to be pretty good. Alright, so I paused the sound so the safeties aren't making my ears bleed because they are quite loud. Now I don't feel like I'm screaming. But again, this thing is 100% free. You don't need any prerequisites except for Rail Simulator US, which if you've got Train Simulator, you very much most likely have already. So this doesn't require anything else. It's simply an RWP file. You slap it in, or you could, extract it and throw it in the assets, do whatever the heck you want, but I just use the RWP because it's the easiest. But it's very nice looking. This guy modeled this thing by hand, obviously, and it's a great looking locomotive. This thing was absolutely massive. Looks like a giant bullet with a giant tender to boot. Now, you may notice I don't have the correct Pennsy cars because I don't have the Broadway Limited thing from DTM, and I refuse to purchase it. So these are the cars that I have. There's probably some repaints out there for something else. That's fine, but that's what I got on there. That's, it's not really about the cars itself, but looking at it right off the bat, the coloring looks pretty nice. It's not just jet black. There is a bit of gray and weathering in there, which looks very nice because a lot of black things in Train Simulator don't look very good. They don't ever seem to have any depth or texture or anything like that. But this actually looks pretty nice. The Pennsylvania logo along the side and the lettering and the font and all that look very good. We'll scoot up here to the locomotive itself. The numbers look very nice as well. They had a unique font for the numbers. We'll go down to the nose. I believe at one point they had like a huge badge on the top of this thing over the headlight that was It's like a pair of wings or something. And something else that was pretty unique about this locomotive is I think it had a Leslie A200, if I'm not mistaken, instead of the traditional steam whistle. So it was an air horn, so to speak. But God, this thing held 20,000 gallons of water and 23.5 tons of coal. This was a big sumbitch, and it most certainly is. It'll be interesting to see if it can go around corners. I, of course, am not on the horseshoe curve in game because that route is old as hell, and it doesn't look that great. So, of course, I'm on the Lackawanna main line again, which you can find on the workshop, just to test this thing out here. But what you see here, you may be thinking, what the hell? This doesn't look right. This isn't the S1. Well, it is. It's the de-skirted version. So you're going to get two versions. You're going to get the skirted, normal. Everybody, you know, when they think of the Penske S1, the skirted version normally. I've got it down the line here, so we'll ride by it and take a look at that because it does look a bit different, obviously. So this right here, first and foremost, you can tell right off the bat, it's got the bit missing for the coupler, and that coupler looks pretty good, I must say. You can see the air hoses in there as well as air braked, of course. Little access doors here look fairly nice, and of course the trucks. These trucks look pretty good. They look like they've got quite a lot of depth to them. They just look very nice and very chunky. We got our air tank or our reservoir right there as well. There's one of the pistons. We got the ginormous wheels. God, what were these things? Like 80? Or were they 80 inches? They were massive. But what was funny about these is the weight. They were so damn heavy. A lot of your weight, more than half of the weight, was actually on the front and the trailing wheels, the non-powered drivers. So I think it was like some 40% was on the drivers, and then the rest of the weight was actually on the front and rear, which was kind of funky. But this was a unique locomotive, no doubt. There's a ton about this locomotive I'm not going to cover that I don't even know, to be, you know, completely blatantly honest, that you can just go and find on YouTube if you'd like to know more about the whole duplex drive system and all that. We're just going to look at it in its iteration in Train Sim Classic here, of course. But the steps look very nice leading up to the side. And this is a unique model as well, and it couldn't have been very easy to make because of the shape of it. It's like a torpedo, if you will, kind of like the J3A, which he made as well some years ago. The shape here, you can actually see the sun reflecting off the front cap there. So that's interesting as well. But that is it's a unique shape, very unique shape. You can see the markers up there and the numbers as well. Got our Altoona Works badge on the side there. Is that actually 3D? Kind of looks like it is. It's a little low res. It doesn't. I don't know the technical term, but it doesn't have the thing where the letters kind of like jump out at you. But it looks all right enough from a distance. And the rods, connection rods, and all that look very nice, as well as the brakes down here too. Those look very, very good. They are locked down, of course. This thing should spin around in its motion as we are moving. It's bottom of the firebox there. Got your air hose going back there to the tender. God, I can't get over the size of this thing. It wasn't much smaller than the, the big boy. It was, I think it was, like, weight-wise, it wasn't much less. Very little. But this, of course, is the tender. We'll take a look at the top here. It, of course, would hold the coal and the water. As you can see here, we'll look at the top of the locomotive. Streamlined. They were looking for speed back in the day, and, you know, they kind of got it, so they just cut every little thing they could down or built a shell on the top and the side just to hide all the little bits that would cause muddiness in the aerodynamics, if you will. This is the safety valves over to the right, the dual stack there. Got the sand dome in the middle there. Yeah, this sucker looks good. All right, I'm going to unpause it and hopefully not be extremely loud. Here we go. All right, it's not too bad. We'll go ahead and take a look at the headlights. So he upped his game a bit with the ATSF 2900 headlights. We'll take a look at these. It's funny, when you hit the H key, they come on and pop off. You got to kind of hold it down. There we go. Those look pretty good. It's a nice color. You know, it's got a bit of a funky flare on there, but all in all things considered, you know, especially up against payware, very recent payware, might I add, that looks way better than most of the stuff you'd pay for off the Steam store. We'll give it one more H key, and there's your bright, which honestly looks pretty good. It's got a bit of a flare around it as well, but I think it looks as good as something like Machine Rail comes out with nowadays. It's got a nice look to it. I don't know if the markers can be lit. We'll take a look at that when we get inside here. Let me get the HUD up. Firstly, I want to check that horn out. Holy shit, that's loud. Okay. It sounds like an A200, so that's cool. They got that. It is a bit loud, and it's like the volume of it goes up, and then it just stops at the very end. If that would be somehow cleaned up a bit, it would be a lot nicer. Yeah, kind of sounds like a cow moo sound effect. That you know, that's what A200s sound like. But the sound itself isn't that bad. It just could definitely use some cleaning up. Let's see here. There's the bell. The bell sounds pretty good. Not too shab. All right, let's get inside this beast. Oh Lord, did I leave auto fireman on? Please God, I hope I did. All right, I am zoomed out a bit. I have my FOV pretty far back. Let's see here. Does this sucker have a cab light? Probably gonna have to just like press stuff. So you got to keep in mind, this is all free. Dude made this by hand. The window textures don't look all that great. It's kind of like milk dried on the window, but once you open it, it looks very nice. It doesn't sound like there's any sort of sound occlusion, interior or exterior, but there is a nice sound with the window closing and opening. That sounds pretty nice. Let's see what we can mess with over here. Do these front windows open? Now, all comes with this when you download it is the file itself. I haven't seen a manual unless it's buried within the... oh, you can. Oh, nice. Look at that. Unless it's buried within the files in Train Simulator itself. It's got a nice little sound goes with it as well. Let's get over in the middle here. Got some chains. Some pretty strong chain game. Very nice. There's the ginormous freaking tender back here. Thing's as big as a damn dump truck. Go to the fireman's side. And this guy would have his work cut out for him. Holy crap. Go ahead and open all the windows here. You got to kind of grab it right there. There we go. All right, let's see if we... Man, for this to be a completely free, a freeware model, this looks pretty damn good. Oh, look at this. A special thanks to the friends who contributed to this model being built. That's nice. That's pretty nice. This, of course, DSGDDR. Dudes from Brazil, Portuguese. That's pretty cool. Nice little add-on there. That's nice when devs do things like that for people to help out. That's kind of cool. Oh, you've got a head-out view as well. That's nice. Good deal. I like that. All right, let's get back over to the side here. Maintenance lights, back drivers, front drivers, compressors. Let's just turn them all on. I don't see the lights. It is a bit bright out. Yeah, I don't know. I do know this thing's been in the work, or in the loop and being worked on for quite a while. They actually beta tested this thing, unlike a lot of products that you see for money on the Steam store. So yeah, that's different and a nice change of pace. Let's see, what do we got here? Alright, so there are cab lights. Let's see if they kill the frames at all. No, I still seem to be getting a pretty decent frame rate. The bezel, the plate looks pretty good, as well as these screws. The heads on these flathead screws actually look pretty nice. These little switches here don't look all that great. They look like little like blocks of cheese. But, you know, stuff like that, it's, you know, whatever, really. This isn't a light switch simulator. Alright, that's HUD lights, classification lights. Ah, they do come on. Okay, very cool. So there's your class lights right there. Get back in, turn those off, and they are off. Alright, we'll leave that on for the moment. What do we got here? Light up lamps. There's our regulator. See what else we can mess with here. That's the emergency brake. Tender tail light. Maintenance light. Tender stoker. Ah, yeah, you can see the light on back there. Very nice. Right there, again, it looks pretty good. Got the number 6100 there on the plate. Pennsylvania Railroad. Alright, what else can we mess with in here before we get going? I mentioned to get this thing going. He generally does pretty well on physics. You know, it takes some doing to get these things up to speed. Which, you know, physics and train sim is always a nice thing. Sunroof. Hold up. How do you do this? I'm trying to grab it here. I probably can't see my... Oh, there we go. Hell yeah. It's got a nice thin metallic sound to go along with it as well. That's pretty cool. Does it look the same exterior-wise? Indeed, it does. See, little details like that are always nice when you do something in the cab and they translate in the exterior model as well. So that's pretty cool. That's very nice. Does this top hatch open here? I would imagine it does. Not totally sure how the hell you grab it. Like it would slide back, possibly. Oh, what's this here? Hold up. Sunroof. Nice. Yep. It's got that sound as well. So is this part of the chain system up here with the little pulley and deals? And it is open on the top. Look at that. You see the handles and the pipework through the roof. That's pretty badass. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. All right. I don't know what the L key does. It's not the lights, but when I was hitting it earlier, it made sounds. All right, let's see what we can mess with here. We got our in-cab signaling. I don't know if that works. It probably would have been nice to try it on Horseshoe Curve. We'll see. Just not right at this moment. Stoker booster, Stoker engine, jet back, front. What's that? Central. There's Stoker fine coal, jet back right, jet steam. So you can grab just about every one of these and do it the legit way, if you please. Stoker vane, Stoker vane. Let's see here. Let's try and open this sucker up. Alright. The sound is pretty nice. Sounds pretty good. This had one of those auto feed deals. I forget the actual specific name, but it kind of like... What it shoots... It shot some steam in there and actually loaded the coal. Something to that effect. I'm not really astute with anything really, but steam engines more specifically. Dynamo supply, lubricator heater, Stoker steam heater, set blower, steam supply, feed water heater, water glass top, There's little joints right there. Little U-joints. Dude, this is freeware. I would happily pay for something like this. You know, compared to the typical stuff that we get that you're supposed to pay for. There's our sander. I feel safe enough to actually turn that. Alright, enough BS. Let's get this thing cranking. Let's get that light off. I'm not crazy about the color of this window here. That's a lot. That's a lot. And when they're doubled over, it just seems a lot worse. Alright, let's go. Let's throw this thing, we'll throw it fully forward, I reckon. Get rid of the air. So you got it released, and then it's got a running position in which we will go ahead and put it back in. There's 110. Alright, we're going to throw it back in running. This is our brake handle right here, by the way. And let's give her a little juice. Alright, we are rolling ever so slightly. We'll check out the cacks on the side here. Yep, looks pretty good. Looks where they should be. It's not the you know, the best looking particle in the world. It seems about on par with the last engine, but it would be nice to see some stuff like this upped if possible, just to up the game a bit, which would you know, just take it up a notch, honestly. But the exhaust itself does seem dynamic, and if I'm not mistaken, DSGDDR is pretty good about dynamic exhaust with you know, with RPM, engine speed, and all that good stuff. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he helped Machine Rail with some new physics, you know, that he took from his wares and kind of helped Machine Rail out with, just to up their game a little bit. So that's nice. That's very cool, of course. It's nice, you know, when devs help each other out. So it's blowing. All right, we'll give her a little more juice. Man, that sucker's loud. It's a good sound. It's a nice A200. It's just very loud, and the end of it, namely, is very abrupt. Got some big old chuffs happening here. Can hear the wheels trying to destroy the rails and the ties underneath. That groaning, monstrous sound. Alright, we'll start dropping the reverser back down. There we go. So this actually moves up and down, as it should. It shortens and increases the breadth. Yeah, I didn't explain that worth a damn, but that's what I got. Alright, we'll put it back up to 60 here. And I'm getting pretty good frames with this as well. You know, with a lot of locomotives and stuff like this in Train Sim that have a lot of, you know, exhaust and steam particles and a lot of moving parts and scripting, it can take a toll on frames. I don't really have much laying around the scene that I've got going on here, but as it stands, it's pretty good. Very smooth so far. Smoky boy. The chuff sounds okay. It doesn't sound magnificent, but again, this thing is dead. This thing has long been dead for many decades, so I understand things like that are going to be a lot more difficult to get a hold of. I love when that happens. There we go. Xbox controller has been appeased. But DSGDDR and gang did have original blueprints of this thing and built it from said blueprints. So as far as the way this sucker looks, chef's kiss. All right, let's give her some more juice. We'll do the head out. We'll throw it up to 30%. Drop the reverser down to about 50. I like that as well. You can see the latch and the lock. Got a nice little sound there as well. Some metallic clanking. Drop down to 45. Put the regulator up to about 40%. She's building speed. The thing feels heavy. I mean, the damn locomotive and the tender itself, 1,000,000 pounds. These coaches were nothing, man. This thing was just having to move its own weight, basically. All right, there's 50%. Yeah, the chuffs now at high speed are kind of weird. They almost have this, almost like a lasery effect to them. Drop it to 30 and increase the go fast handle up to 70%. And here we have on our right, we're coming up to the skirted version, if you will. We'll let the coaches here pass, and we'll take a look at this sucker. Yes, those are two different P70s I have on that train. God, what are those from? The GG1 and the Centipede or something like that, and then the other ones are like the old 70s. All right, so this is it in its original form, the very streamlined and 40s looking skirted version, and it looks just as good. Love the nice stripes down here. It's just a sharp engine. Yes, it is a one-off. There's not a whole hell of a lot you could do with it. There's a little bit of trackage you could run it on, realistically. You know, even though it's not the best, you know, as far as aging well. There has been somebody working on the horseshoe curve, but it's modernized, so it's not going to do much for this old Bessie here. But thing looks good. The wheels, I don't know if I'm seeing things, but they look freshened up a bit more on this variant. Got these vents down here as well, which look very nice. So nice little subtle differences between them. The tender is its own variant as well, so you can see this kind of skirt between there. It's all about streamline. Got the PRR logo on there as well, and the stripes. So we'll go ahead and run back up to this one and take a quick mental note and look at each. So yes, it is much different. So it doesn't have the logo up there, or there's I believe there's a cap right there as well, which is not there. We'll go back to the skirted version as well. There it is. And the wheels look a lot fresher as well. I meant to look at that. Dang it. Here we go. We'll go right back. 2 seconds. Yeah, they are. So this is like, you know, later in life, worn down a bit, and that fresh white paint isn't on the rim of the wheel there. It's just either worn off or black or whatever the hell happened. So that's pretty damn neat. So there are, I'd say, a lot more than just subtle differences. And you got to keep in mind, again, this was a freeware model. This is something someone created just because they wanted to, and they wanted it to be right. It's so nice and lovely when someone in the train sim community does stuff like this, because this thing looks damn good. You know, it may not be everybody's cup of tea. Like I said, Pensy stuff, especially Steam, isn't really my cup of tea. But, you know, when you see stuff like this in a game, it's hard not to like it. This thing looks pretty damn good, all things considered. All right, we'll unpause it here. I'll let this thing run by. We'll do like a little run-by sound here. See what she sounds like from a distance. We'll check that horn out again. Here we go. All right. Full bore. I got it at, we'll do 90. There we go, 90%. And there's almost no loop in the air horn. It's just the end, really, and how loud it is. All right, let's check the braking power out here. Get rid of the power. I'm not really hearing any rod clank. There's a little bit there. Kind of sounds like when you got a pot of water boiling and it's like trying to push the lid off. There's a little there. There's a little there. You can actually see the gear rotating there as well, which is pretty cool. The oiler, the luber, greaser. All right, let's give her some air. Oh, look at that! The in-cab signaling does work. Now these are obviously the Pensy style signals. So, holy shit! They are working with that. So this is considered minimal reduction that I've got it on. So we took, what, 15 pounds? Is that right? Yeah. All right, we'll put it back on minimal. I don't know. Again, it's got to be hard to find stuff out about this, like realistically, operation-wise, because it was dead in the late 40s, just gone, poof, bye-bye. But the brakes feel a little grabby, especially at minimal reduction. But as far as like the pulling power of it and the acceleration from a stop, that felt pretty good. It took some doing to get this thing moving. The sounds are okay. They could definitely use some work, but this is released as is for right now, and it's a particular version. And just go ahead and pause that. Get rid of the sounds. And I know with the ATSF Class 2900, they updated it once or twice after the fact, after some feedback and stuff they just figured out, which they may do with this thing in the near future. But, you know, right now, this is a pretty nice little freeware locomotive. I mean, this thing is free. It's free, and it looks really incredible. It really does look good. I mean, the model alone, like the texturing and everything, could be a little bit more crispy and sharp. But again, I don't really know how all that works. I just call it like I see it, if that makes any sense at all. But it looks really good. The window thing, they're a bit cloudy and they look a bit funky. And the chuff sound and the weird kind of like lasery echoey thing. So just a few things. But again, like, you know, I'm not even trying to review this thing. I just wanted to take a look at it. And it's pretty decent in its current form. And it's again, you know, kicking a dead horse. It's free. You know, you're not asked to spend money on this thing. So it's nice that DSGDDR and his gang are, you know, making stuff like this. Yes, it is a one-off in S1, but it was instrumental into you know, railroading back then, and today's railroading and passenger trains and all that good stuff. But again, the Pennsy S1 Duplex. You can go get this for free. Again, that's probably the 10th time I've said free in 5 minutes. I'll link it down below, and go and check it out for yourself. But that's it for now, guys. I'll see you next time.